Quality or quantity? That's a topic that a lot of YouTubers talk about when it comes to doing videos. Do you put out lots of videos and not worry so much about the quality of the videos? Or do you put out quality videos, but not as many as you would if you focused on quantity? That's a tough question for me to answer because I see both sides of it, right? I get both. I understand that the person who puts out as many videos as they can, they probably learn a lot more. They learn about viewership, they learn what works, they learn what doesn't work. They can figure out ways to get into the algorithm and all of that stuff. Those are the people who, they don't care about so much about the details. They think about the bigger picture. They just want to get it out there, right? And in a lot of cases, those are the people that really end up gaining a lot more. But then there's the other side of people who feel like they, for whatever reason, they'd rather focus on the quality aspect of things, right? They don't really concern themselves with pushing out as much and flooding everything. They want to make sure that whatever they touch or whatever they put out is a representation of their best work. And I understand that. But for me, I think why it's important for me as far as this topic goes is because of one of the reasons why I started this channel. Yes, I'm a gaming channel. I also do tech. I cover other things as well. But I think for me, the biggest thing about this channel is I want to speak to those in my position, right? I am a gamer. I'm an enthusiast of many different paradigms and topics and things like that. But I'm also a father. I'm also a husband. And that plays a significant role in how I live my day to day and how I guess you could say, tackle my hobbies or my passions. They come first, right? And there's a lot of people in that camp just like me. And I think it's best that I talk to you, give you my honest opinion on my life and how it affects everything, because it does. What works now in my current space is quality. Now, the reason why I say quality works for me is because I understand that it's of course an option to go ahead and push out many videos every single day. I understand that. And I also understand that the less I put out, the much more I'm fading away further and further from viewership. However, I think that due to everything else that I do every day, I have a 1-year-old, I have a 9-year-old, I have a 12-year-old. That there already is pretty much, a lot of work right there. I have a 12-year-old, self-sufficient, but he's in middle school. We're in a pandemic, so there's online school. So I have to make sure that I'm making sure that he's doing what he has to do. Is he, getting to classes on time? Is he in class? Things like that. Is he turning in homework, schoolwork, things like that? I have a 9-year-old. So I have to make sure that he's present for class. I have to make sure that he's doing his assignments and homework and things like that. And then I have a 1-year-old, right? And I have a 1-year-old. You can guess what that's like. Constantly. So in addition to that, and making sure that they're doing what they have to do, we'll also have to make sure that chores are done, things like that. Can they go outside? Have you brushed your teeth yet? Have you done all this stuff yet? And then after all that, I have other things that I'm thinking about that I'm doing, making sure that the house is cool, making sure that groceries and all that stuff that you think about when you have a family, right? And then when all that stuff is handled, then I say, okay, let me sit down and let me focus on the stuff that I want to do, which is what I'm doing right now. So you think by all of that time every day, it's not as easy to just go ahead and put up something and make sure that I feel like I'm not only putting out the best, but I'm also giving the best. I sometimes struggle with that. And I actually often ask myself, what would I put out? What would I want to put out if I were my viewer? Would I care about quality? Would I care about quantity? And sometimes it's kind of a biased question because I'm not the viewer. I'm not you. So I can only go from how I feel about it. And I feel that currently quantity is not, advantageous for me right now. But quality is. If I can put out a video that is 10 or 12 minutes long, or a little bit less around this time that I'm doing now, and I could polish it up, make it look as best I can put that out and I'll be okay for me. Until the next week comes around, or like the last video. It took me a while, and I'll put that out. But for right now, because of my, I wouldn't say obligations at all, because It's more responsibility that I'm proud of, that I focus on that more and make sure that those things are taken care of before I come over here and start working on that. Quality is the route that I would go. In due time, I'm sure over time, once things are more settled as far as that 1 year old, because my man, yo, once she's much more sufficient and she understands that, when daddy's streaming, to be quiet or things like that, then I'll be able to re-up and do things much more quickly. But until then, it's a learning process for me. I didn't do this before with my other two children. So now that I have a 1 year old, there's a lot of learning on both our sides that we have to adjust to even still. I think until that she gets to that age where she's a lot older and she understands what's going on, this is the route that works for me. And that's one thing I want to tell you also. Don't feel ashamed if you feel that you look over your shoulder and somebody else is cranking out, not movies, but videos all the time, and you're putting out 1 to 2 to 3. I understand that by YouTube standards and by a lot of people who are call themselves gurus and whatnot, they can say, okay, well, the more you waste time putting out videos, no one knows who you are. That could be true, but also it's your time and how you want to use it. And if you feel that you want to use this time to focus on something and really put your all into it, and if it may take a couple days to put out, and then there's a certain stretch of time before the next one, but you know that you're putting out the best work that you can, that you know how, that works too. So I don't think anybody here should ever feel pressured or feel like they can't do what they want to do because they have to keep up with the status quo, or they feel like they have to worry so much about what gets them where they want to be. It's not a race, it's a marathon. That being said, don't feel bad if you see yourself falling behind or see yourself not where you need to be all in time. What I've decided to do recently is just put out a video a week. It doesn't have to be super detailed. I just put out a video a week and I go from there. Now, I do have some bullet points. I have some things that I talk about. I can show you right here that on my phone, I have some stuff. If I can back up a little bit. Okay. So I have some bullet points and things like that, but take that approach, try it out, try what works for you, because this is new. This is new to me still. And I have a few videos up. I'm learning something every day, and you have to understand what works for you and go that route. Go at your own pace. But what I would like to know is, what do you think? What do you think works for you? What do you think works? It doesn't even have to be YouTube. It could be in other forms of media or other areas. What do you think works best for you? And comment below and let me know what you think, because this is a very interesting topic to me. Until then, you guys, take care. Peace.